Happy Wednesday, 10th graders. Welcome to week 10, lesson 46. Let's get started. Why was the fish's grade bad? It was below sea level. Get it? Like sea, like a body of water, but sea, like a sea in class. So as you know, we are on day 3 of week 10 lessons. The video you should be watching right now is called ELA G10 W10 L46. Today you're not going to be reading a text specifically. You're going to be reflecting on unit text as a whole. And you're also going to document plans for time capsule and writing, which I think you all will enjoy very much. When you get down to the lesson plan, don't forget to look at the materials section to remind yourself of everything you need for today. Just a quick reiteration, the learning target for today is I can describe material possessions intended for a time capsule using precise language and can match each item with a personal value. So you're going to actually list out your own material possessions that you would put in your own time capsule, and you're going to use precise language to describe those items, and you're also going to match each of those items to a personal value that you hold. Let's quickly talk through the read, think, talk, write protocol for today. For the read section, you're going to review the text for items included in the time capsule left of the Space Needle. So this is your third time looking at the text. You're not going to read all of it, but just review your notes and review the text for the items included in the time capsule that were left of the Space Needle. You've been doing this the past couple of days, so it should be pretty quick. For the think section, you're going to think about the items you might want to include in a physical time capsule. If you were only limited to your possessions, what might you choose to include in the time capsule? And you're going to brainstorm and capture an initial list of items on the note catcher. This is just your initial list. It may change, but for right now, you're going to think about which items, which personal possessions you would put inside a time capsule that you were creating. And you're going to go to the note catcher, and on the think section, you'll see that there's a space for you to actually brainstorm these ideas. For the talk section today, you're going to talk with someone about the following questions. When would you want your personal time capsule to be opened? Who would you want to open it? So not only do you have to figure out what items you'd want to go inside the time capsule, you also have to figure out when you would want it to be opened and who would you want to open it. It can be yourself, but if not, who else would you want to open it? For the writing section, your task is to select 3 of the items you brainstorm to include in your personal time capsule. So of the many items you brainstorm, pick 3. And you're going to elaborate on each of these items by stating what the object is, why it's important to you, and what it says about your values at this time. So what it is in detail, why it's important to you, and what it says about your values at this time. And as always, the note catcher will give you a space to actually write down and document all of your thoughts. As always, for today's closing, you're going to share your writing with someone, and then you're going to read a book for at least 20 minutes and document your reading on the reading log. So the model today will be around brainstorming these items for your time capsule, because that's something that you definitely have to put some thought into to make sure you pick the right items to go in your time capsule. The brainstorming part is really just a brain dump of all the items, but then eventually you have to actually narrow it down. So I'm going to just model for you the talk and write section today, and I wanted to quickly just go over each part of those sections just to make sure we're all on the same page of what you have to do. So the first part I'm going to actually model for you is the part of the writing section where you have to select 3 of the items you brainstormed from the list in the previous sections, and you have to elaborate on these items by stating what the object is, why it's important to you, and what it says about your values at this time. But then in the talk section, you also have to answer these questions. When would you want your personal time capsule to be opened, and who would you want to open it? So I'm going to model for you today the writing section, and I'm going to give you 3 items that I would put in my time capsule, answer those questions under the writing section, but also answer the questions under the talk section, because it may be helpful for you to see a model before you talk about those questions with someone. So I would recommend stopping the video right now and completing the read section where you have to reread the text, and also the think section where you have to brainstorm your initial list of items that you would place in your time capsule. And then once you've done the read and think section, you can play the video and engage in the model with me where we'll do the talk and write sections together. Okay, so I'm going to model for you today the 3 items that I would place in a time capsule if I was creating my own time capsule. And not only will I just list out the items for you, I'm going to also answer the questions that you need to think about when you do the write and talk sections. So what the object is in detail, why it's important to me, what it says about my values, when would I want the whole time capsule opened, and who would I want to open it. So I'm going to go through each of these boxes with you and model for you my thought process, and hopefully that'll help you land on what items you want to put in your own time capsule. So the first item I mentioned here is Black Lives Matter paraphernalia. And to me, this object is like a sticker or flag that proudly displays hashtag Black Lives Matter on it. It's important to me because no matter what the world looks like in the future, it's important to not forget what it was like in 2020. And Black Lives Matter has been, happening. The movement itself has been around for a couple of years now. But obviously, with what's happening in the world right now, and all the high-profile cases and all the protests, I really deeply value the Black Lives Matter movement and all that it stands for. And I would not want to lose sight of what the world was like in 2020. And I feel like a Black Lives Matter paraphernalia of some sort, like a flag or sticker, would remind me of that. And even in like 30 years from now, if racial equity is achieved, it's important to remember what our past was like so we don't make those same mistakes again. What it says about my values: although I'm not Black, I will do whatever it takes to be a better ally and will always fight for equity. So I'm not someone that's personally impacted by police brutality or racism, but I'm someone who deeply cares about ending it and getting to the root of the problem, which is white supremacy. And so this connects to my values about trying to be an ally and trying to advocate for groups that I'm not a part of and uplift the voices of people who are fighting for change. My next item would be my current resume, and just in detail, this is a collection of all my accomplishments, past jobs, and future aspirations. It's sort of like what, if any of you have applied for a job before, it's what you give the person you're interviewing with to sort of, give a quick overview of like your past experiences. Why it's important to me: my current resume can show my future self where my head was at in the past and how far I've come. So if I'm opening this in like 30 years from now, it would be really fascinating for me to like look at my resume from 2020 to see like where I was working, what my important accomplishments were at that time, how I structured my resume, and maybe how a resume looks differently in 30 years from now than it does today. So it would be important to me to sort of like give me a chance to reflect on how far I've come. What it says about my values: I'm goal-oriented. Looking back at my resume would help me see if I achieve my future goals. So I really care about reaching my goals. I set goals for myself and I strive to reach them and to display excellence in everything that I do. And this resume and my choice to include it in the time capsule it just speaks to my passion for reaching my goals and constantly reflecting on whether I've actually met my goals in the present, but also reflecting back on the past too. And my third item would be a picture of my family. And just to describe the picture, it wouldn't be like any old picture. It'd be a picture of an incredibly happy memory that my family has shared. I mean, we have a lot of pictures together, but there's a few pictures that come to mind of like a very happy memory. It's important to me because no matter how much loss we may endure in the next 30 years, or whenever I choose to open the time capsule, this picture would remind me of the good times of the past, because loss and trauma is inevitable and like it happens to everyone, but all we can do is like hold on to the positive memories. And so it would be important for me to include a picture of my family in our happiest time to just always hold on to that feeling. What it says about my values: I'm a family man who cares deeply about those I love. Happy memories eliminate sadness of the present. So eliminate may not be the best word, but if I'm ever going through something challenging, I think back to positive memories. It doesn't like eliminate the sadness I'm feeling, but it does help me navigate the sadness and helps me reflect on the good times. So this picture speaks to my value of not only being a family man, but also someone who really believes in holding on to positive things and happy memories, because they can help you with the sadness you're currently feeling. When would I want it opened? I would want it open sometime in the next 20 to 25 years. That way I would still be working, wouldn't be retired yet, and my parents / immediate family would hopefully still be living. So, if I waited till 50 years from now, hopefully I'm still living in 50 years, I would probably be out of work. And so the resume would be not as impactful because I wouldn't see like what current job I'm in. It would still be interesting, but it wouldn't be as impactful. So I want to make sure I open it at a time that I'm still working, because in 20 years from now and 25 years from now, I definitely will still be working. And also, like, I would want to do it not, in 30, 40 plus years from now, because although my parents aren't that old right now, in 30 plus years from now, they would be older, and there sadly may be a chance that they're not living anymore. And so I'd want them to be living when I open this time capsule, because I know it would contain a picture of us, and that would really bring a smile to all of our faces. Would I want to open it? It may sound selfish, but I would personally like to open it. I placed the items that I did in the time capsule hoping that I would discover them myself so I could reflect on how my life and the world was 20 to 25 years ago. Like all my items, as you see, were really a chance for, I put them in there because I want to discover them myself and have an opportunity to reflect on not only how the world was in 2020, but how I was. And if someone else finds them, maybe the items would get back to me, maybe they wouldn't, but like if someone else finds my current resume or a picture of my family, it may be interesting for them to see, and they could probably make a lot of like inferences about my life, but if they don't know me personally, it's not going to be as impactful. Like my whole approach to this time capsule was putting things in there that I will hopefully find later on in life to reflect on how far I've come and to sort of like think back to the positive memories of the past or what was happening in the world that wasn't so positive, but to track how much we've changed over time. Hopefully my model was helpful to you in thinking about how much intentionality and thought has to go into developing a list of the 3 items you're going to put inside your time capsule. As you saw with my model, I put a lot of intentionality and thought into the items that I put in there. I didn't just think about like what is my favorite technological device right now and put that in there because it's important to me in the moment. I thought about what's happening in the world as well as what is important to me now that I think I would want to reflect on in 20 to 25 years from now. And I encourage you all to do the same. Also, don't forget to go back into the lesson plan and read all the different parts of the Read, Think, Talk, Write protocol to make sure you remind yourself of everything you have to get done for today. For tomorrow's lesson, lesson 47, the learning target is, I can organize my thoughts in writing for a specific purpose and audience. Tomorrow, you're actually going to write a time capsule letter. And in order to write that letter, you really have to think about the purpose of the letter and the audience for the letter. Thank you for being amazing students and learning with me today. Just a few reminders that you're probably sick of me saying. Number 1, don't forget to talk about your lesson with someone when you're done. Number 2, read for 20 minutes and complete a reading log entry. The reading log is at the front of your packet. And number 3, practice reading fluency using the first or second page of your weekly reading. And that is also at the front of your packet too if you need a reminder of what reading fluency is. As always, you can email your teacher for support. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And remember, keep learning.